So first of all, I'm making some changes to the way that Revit is set up to do a default walkthrough in terms of size, in terms of duration. So we'll just go through with that. And first, if I go to walkthrough view, 3D view, walkthrough, we sort of got two choices. One is whether to fly through the space pretty quickly or to give a sense of walking through the space. And walking through the space at about 3 miles an hour means in 30 seconds we can go about 125 feet. So I'm going to, first off, I'm going to try to create a series of lines that add up to about 125 feet so I can sort of predict where I'm going. And unfortunately, Revit doesn't have a polyline the way that AutoCAD does, connected lines or arcs where you can tell what their cumulative length is, but we do have a railing. This is sort of a kludge, but we can use a railing to sort of figure out where we would like to go and see how long that total length of travel is, so that our walkthrough will feel like it's actually at walking speed. So I'm just going to go to Architecture, Railing, Sketching a Path, and let's say I want to come in the door and turn this way and come into this room. So if I start outside and just sort of map it out like that and say, okay, then I can see that this whole thing is 105 feet long. Well, that'll be sort of a slow walk through. That'll be fine. But we can go up to about 125 or 150 feet if you want to move through more of your space. So we'll just say that that's the path I'm going to use. Okay, I've seen that. I know how it works. I want to get rid of it because I don't want to have a railing show up in my animation. But I sort of know what I've got. So I'm going to go into View, 3D View, Walkthrough. Start out here and come into this space. Okay. And then we'll go to Edit Walkthrough. Or I'll actually go to that walkthrough over here in the project browser. And because this was the last keyframe, that it stays on that, it doesn't initially take you to the first frame. So first thing I want to do to get it to these proportions, which are 16 by 9, I want to pick this view by its edge and say size, do a size crop on it. And basically 16 by 9 are the same proportions as 8 inches by 4.5. And that's all I want to do right here is just change the width. So we get the broader image that corresponds to the proportions of the image that we want. And then once I want to go back to Edit Walkthrough. And from here, I can kick back from either the previous frame or the previous keyframe. And I want to do that to get back to the very beginning where I'm outside. So we've got the dimensions set. And now I want to change the duration of this video. The default is 20 seconds, which is 300 frames at 15 frames per second, which is, 20 times 15 is 300. I'm going to change this to 450 frames, which will give me 30 seconds of walking through. Apply. Okay. And there we are up there. So you got to hit apply to make that happen. And now I just want to preview what it's going to look like and make sure I'm not like banging into stuff. So at the previous keyframe, I'll just hit play. And we can say here, just in wireframe mode, essentially what's going to be happening here. Hidden line mode, I mean. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to smack into the wall like that. So let's go back to level 1. And you can see what's happening here is I'm getting real close right there. So I need to go into there are two modes of editing the video. One is where the key points are, and the other which is what each one is looking at. So the control here, I want to go from active camera to path, at which point I can move these guys so that I don't slam into things. I'm just going to split the difference between the column and the elevators. And I think I'm going to actually move this guy out a little bit more, so I'm not making quite such a tight bend right there. But I don't want to put too many points in I just want to keep this sort of smooth like this, and Revit will automatically smooth it all out. So when I see that, I'll go to my previous keyframe. Oh, I want to go back to the walkthrough. So I don't want to play it right here. Playing it here just moves the camera in plan, which is sort of bogus. Can I stop that? Escape. Play. No, I just got to let it run through. And we'll see how that works when I go back to the walkthrough view. There we are. So we'll pick this now. I want to go back to edit walkthrough, and then we can play it through. Okay, that's a little better. It's an okay view for our demonstration purposes. And now I would like to see what this looks like in a shaded mode. I'll go to realistic. And something I've asked for in the assignment here is to have cast shadows turned on and the sun coming in at a low enough angle that we actually see it on the floor and on the walls and things. So in this view, we'll go to graphic display options and shadows and turn cast shadows on. Just generally turn them on. And then in lighting, set the lighting angle so that we see it coming into the building, and we'll just start with what we've got here, which is 35 degrees above the horizon, and the azimuth, which is the direction from north, being 135, which is sort of down from this way. So we'll just apply that and see what we get. And we can use those same settings in a plan view. Level 1, go to turn lighting on. This one said 225 and 5. Apply. Oh, wait, I didn't turn shadows on, I guess. Okay, so basically 0 is north, 90, 180, 270. So here's 225, sun coming in this direction from a low angle at that direction, and we'll see what that looks. So I'm going to just duplicate that one over in the walkthrough, 225 and 5, to see how that works. So go back to walkthrough here, where we can set the sun angles either in properties rendering settings or in the usual graphic display options. Lighting, in session lighting, 225. So this would be like late afternoon sun coming into the building from over there, across the river. Okay, so there's that. So you see those same sun angles as with the other one. So let's go back to here. I'm not sure I hit OK just then. Lighting. I didn't hit apply. 225. 5, apply. Okay. And I'm going to change this scheme from exterior sun only to right now to interior sun only, and we'll just see what happens. This will take some experimentation. Apply. I did interior sun only because I don't have any lights turned on. I don't have any lights in this, but so I'm just seeing what I get. And I'm not sure what this, oh, you know what's happening here? What we're seeing here is the horizon and the sky being reflected in that glazing. So that should sort of go away once we smash through the glass. There are enough little fiddly things about the way Revit generates animations, especially that edit walkthrough tools, that give yourself some time to do this. Don't figure it's just going to crank out in an hour, because it just takes a while to figure it out and get familiar with it. Last year, a bunch of people decided Revit was so pissy that they found some online animation programs and sort of rebuilt their rooms here in Schneider Hall, and use those for the animation parts of things. I think given all the effort you've put into this, it would be difficult to do that. So I'm assuming everybody's going to be using Revit to do this. So let's work from that assumption. Okay, so we've sort of gotten past those shadows being cast on the floor. And it will be generating the animation at about this same speed in terms of the time it takes. And then when we actually go ahead and play the animation, which I should have been doing a save. Well, we'll wait. Once you play the animation, it'll come out there at normal walking speed. It just takes a while to render. It didn't take very long at all to do the monochrome version. It would take much longer to do a actual rendered version of this with true lights, with the light sources working and stuff. Okay, got bops back to the beginning. So the process, let's assume that was indeed what I wanted. I think one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to crank my sun around. Instead of coming, right now it's coming from this way, I want to bring it more from here, so it goes farther back into the building, just to see that. So I'm going to change my lighting on this. My lighting, instead of being from 225 degrees, so that's coming in this way, this would be 180. Let's say I want to maybe 205 degrees, so it'll go back farther into the building. 205. 205 degrees. Apply. Okay, that'll just sort of, basically I want something in there to sort of liven up the process as they're going in. In fact, I think I'll cut it even farther. I'll make it be 200 degrees. 200. And then apply. Okay. And what that did, well, let's see. Oh, this is still low, I see. Okay. So this is the wall back behind there, and this is that overhang. Okay, so to save this, let me just save the model as long as I'm at it. To save this is File, Export. Scroll down to Images, Animations, Walkthrough, and it will work on the currently visible walkthrough. And a couple of things I want to look at here. I'm going to leave the frame rate at 15 frames a second. That's a little jerky, but not all computers can play it back at 24 frames a second, which would be the next notch up. I'm going to change it so it's instead of, although this view is realistic with the edges showing, I'm going to change this just to plain realistic. And I'm going to change my dimensions here to be the 1920 by 1080, which is it's called full frame resolution. And we'll leave this at 100%. That's fine. Okay. And I'm going to stick this on my just on my desktop so I can find it. And it looks like I can leave it there. I did some demonstrations, but we'll leave Gillis model walkthrough 2. Okay. Save. And then we'll get some options about how to save this file. And I'm suggesting we just do full frames uncompressed. Does the Intel IYUV codec, does that show up on yours? Does this guy right here show up? A codec it is like JPEG for movies. It stands for code and decode, where it compresses the file onto disk, and then when it's playing it, it opens it back up to full resolution. And that can reduce your file sizes considerably. But I think just to avoid that all, let's just go to full frames uncompressed. It'll be a big file, but we can upload it to Box with no problem. So we'll just say full frames uncompressed. Okay. And that will do a couple of things. It will make each frame take a bit longer to generate because there are that many more pixels. We were doing this many pixels before, at 700 by 400 or something, and now we're doing nearly 2,000 by 1,000. So in terms of the look, even if it's not particularly, I mean, this is about the way this would appear in the very late afternoon before sunset, with the sun coming in all the way through there. And just to impart some visual interest to your animations, I'm asking that we do something along those lines, just to be able to see, just to sort of spice up the interior. And it might be that the animations that show your project the best won't have sunlight on them coming in like that, but let's do it anyway, just to show me that you can. You've got control over the shadows. And as long as we're waiting for this to work, I asked for 2 different animations. And it strikes me now afterwards is that walking through the space is certainly one we would like to have. But Faith, I'm thinking of your trolley car reception desk. And it might be you want the whole animation devoted to that. So it might be that instead of walking through the space and ending that, you have sort of a short, let's imagine that you're the reception desk. I might do a short one that has a camera here, a camera here, and a camera here. Then I can aim each of those back at that. So the effect is, see the one thing from all sides, instead of multiple things from the same direction. This is the only one that I'm going to actually save to disk, just because it takes so long. And it looks like over here I'm missing a ceiling or a roof or something or other. For those of you with an atrium, for instance, and we'll do this in a minute, I guess, if I get around to it, is that let's say you were coming into the building somewhat the way we are now, and then you get to your camera that's inside the building. If you advance to that keyframe, you can then look up from there. So be coming in and then start looking up at the atrium as you move through the space. So a bunch of options there. And what I'm looking for, if we look at this part, the last part of the grade, it's sort of 2 things. One, that the videos show your design intent. It's not just like walking down a hallway. We've done that for like medical office suites, and it's just like down the hall, it's like, don't need this. So if your atrium is an important part of your design, show me the atrium. And show me whatever you're doing in an interesting way. And that's hard to quantify, so it's a little fuzzy, but does that mean lingering on it? Does that mean rotating around it? Does that mean looking up at it? Just, whatever is involved there. And it'll take a while to do. And I would do lots of monochrome test runs, because they go really fast. You'll get a sense of what that is and start getting how the cameras work. One of the keys there when you're editing the video is reset cameras. And if things have just gotten too wonky, you hit that and they all snap back to looking right in the direction that they're traveling. So if you've been aiming up and down and sideways and stuff, you can get them keep that same path, but not have to deal with go back in and with what you've learned, fix the directions that they're looking. So this has taken how long? Like 10 minutes to generate, something like that. So you can probably figure on that same thing. This is being generated by computer's CPU, not the graphics unit. So the faster your computer normally works, the faster this will work, and the slower, the slower. So take that into consideration when you're working on it at 2 o'clock in the morning, or noon on the 21st, 29th, whatever. So you can see how much the daylight just adds to the sparkle of this whole thing, even if it's not where light would be getting in. If you're doing an atrium, how many of those do we have? Then it might be that a high sun coming down into the atrium will be the lighting that works best for you. With an angle of 85 or 90 degrees, so it comes clear down onto the floor, which it might never do in the real world, and for darn sure never in Alaska. At the equator at noon, the sun comes straight down. Here, it's probably never more than about 85 degrees off of the altitude. But for this purpose, you're allowed to fake it. Make the sun reveal your space the best. this will be about 2 gigabytes, which is a chunk, or yeah, near 2 gigabytes. So I could just give her access to our folder. That way you don't have to upload. It's the same thing to the same two people. Has she asked what she wants in it? Okay, fine. Okay, we don't have to enter the we don't have to have the elevator doors open and that kind of stuff. There is this interesting rendering program. Oh, well, you showed me this, Grace. D5. That maybe D5 does better animations. I don't know how that's going to work. I load it on my computer at home. Okay, so there's this. I stuck it up here on the this one. Yeah, see, this is 2.6 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure this is the one I just did. Yeah. So something like walking speed. We can get the glare of the sun. So let me see if we can tell how long that was. Oh, okay. Oh, that was 30 seconds exactly, because that's how long we made it. Anyway, that's the process. That was with my model on Box. Now we'll try it with Tasneem's. To log onto this computer as student, there's no password, and get to this same place with Box. I'll make sure we got Box working there. Desktop, Box. Which is yours? Hideout 2. Okay. Vineyard. Vineyard Westbrook. Oh, Vineyard. Is it this one? Okay. The date is 4/13. Okay. Well, it might not be. Oh, here we are. 4/16. Okay. Okay. Open. It takes them a while to show up. If you just saved it, there's some lag time for a big file. Okay. Open. Have a handle on this. And which floor are we on? 5. Okay, so let me just walk in here and look up. So maybe we'll come 5th floor, and what's upstairs? This is a ceiling. Is there a glass roof? What's okay? Let's just take a look. Let's go to manage. I'm sorry, view, 3D view, walkthrough, and let's just say we're coming off of these stairs. We're walking from here to here to here. Okay, finish walkthrough. And then I'm going to pick edit walkthrough. Oh, we don't want to do it. Sorry, I don't want to do this in the floor plan view. I want to go to here. So, oh, nice. So this is the final frame of a 3-camera walkthrough. And you'll notice that bar clip active is turned on, so things are disappearing back here. So we uncheck that, and those come back into place. So the one thing I want to do here, well, first of all, let's pick this frame. No, pick the frame. No, it is picked. Oh, well, let's say yeah, I want to quit editing it. I want to go back and deal with this just as a view, not bearing in mind that it's something that's got motion, but just its graphic properties. So I'm going to do size crop and change this. If we just take this to 8 inches by 4.5, that'll get us the right proportions. Apply. Oh, look at this. This is fun, girls, ladies. Okay. So here's this. And now now I do want to edit this so that I'm aiming up at the end, or aiming down. It doesn't, but aiming up. So let's say edit walkthrough. And I'm in this final view, and Shift W is the tool for controlling the camera. And I'm basically just in this view, I want to start looking up. I'll just stop there. All I've done is change that one frame. And as Revit's going from the first camera to the second, those are both at sort of looking straight ahead. And then the third one is looking up. So Revit's going to go level, level, and then start looking up as soon as it gets past the middle keyframe. So let's go to previous keyframe. Previous keyframe. Okay, that's not very exciting, is it? No, and then we go play. And there's a bunch here. So these, this might take longer than my first one did. Okay, so we're doing. Okay, so this is a little time. This is a little time consuming, and really, I don't really need those 3 cameras. Just going like this, one at the beginning and one at the end, would really have been enough. I didn't think it would take this long. And this is only, well, this is 300 frames. It's going to take a little while. We'll cut out this part of the video too. Can I escape this? Escape, escape, escape. Didn't do anything, did it? Not a thing. Escape, escape, escape. No, we're just stuck with it. There's no stop button up here. Okay, well, the bigger the more things there are in the model. I mean, there's all those mullions it's got to think about each time. Okay, well, this is instructive. This first camera view is simply boring visually, and it's tedious to assemble. So maybe we just go back and either put all 3 of those, move those cameras so they're closer together, or just get rid of the middle one and move the first one up. So we're just only moving like 10 feet, but as we're doing it, we're looking up. We must be on like frame. Oh, we're on frame 45. Here's a little readout up here. How do we stop that? How about next keyframe? It's going to take a while. I don't want to kill Revit. Let it. We've gotten this far. Let's just go. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have done all the practice stuff at the smaller screen size. Or even smaller, just to sort of get it. Maybe the same proportions, so we see what we're getting, but just make it not have to deal with so many pixels at a time. So let me close out of this so you guys can get into it if you want to. No, we're not changing that.